Aviate, navigate, communicate. A fighter pilot's protocol for leading through turbulence. I recently sat down with Kim K.C. Campbell, a combat fighter pilot, author of Flying in the Face of Fear, and one of the most decorated female aviators in U.S. Air Force history. In our conversation, she described the emergency protocol every aviator trains on. Aviate, navigate, communicate. When everything goes sideways, you prioritize in exactly that order. Fly the plane first. Figure out where you're going second. Then, and only then, tell anyone about it. April 7th, 2003, Baghdad. KC's A-10 was hit by a surface-to-air missile. The plane became uncontrollable, pointed nose down at the city. She pulled back on the stick. Nothing happened. She'd lost all hydraulics. What saved her wasn't instinct. It was training. She switched to a backup system of cables and cranks, essentially flying a combat aircraft with no power steering. Then she navigated west of the Tigris River to reach friendly territory. Then she let her flight lead know what had happened. Aviate, navigate, communicate, in that order. No steps skipped, no steps reversed. There are a lot of things wrong. I have to focus on the one thing. Get this airplane under control. Then navigate. Then communicate. What this means for a CEO aviate. Navigate, communicate isn't just a protocol for pilots. It's a remarkably clean way to think about leading through any moment of turbulence. Fighter aviation and running a company are both high-performance worlds, and here's how each piece translates to the seat a CEO sits in. Aviate is flying the plane, doing the hard thing even when you're scared. KC was terrified that day over Baghdad. She acted anyway. For a CEO, aviate means making the bold call. Protect revenue, protect your people, keep the company airborne. It takes courage, and it requires you to know your single highest value priority, the one thing that, if you stay focused on it, keeps you from hitting the ground. Navigate is orienting yourself before panic takes hold. In the air, your gut can tell you one thing, while reality is something else entirely. CEOs feel this too. You can be certain you're executing a growth strategy, but when you audit the calendar and the plan, everything points toward improvement rather than growth. Navigation means asking honestly, are we pointed where we actually want to go? Toward more customers, more markets, real growth, or are we just getting better at what we already do? Communicate comes last, and on purpose. KC is clear. Don't communicate until you've done. The first two. Speaking too early, before the plane is stable and you know where you're going, creates confusion, panic, and false expectations. The most effective CEOs I know take a little longer to say something publicly, precisely because when they do speak, it means something. The part that's easy to get backwards. When things go sideways, the natural instinct is to communicate first. Jump on a call with the board. Send an all hands. Announce something to show you're in control. It's a very human response, and it comes from a good place. But if you haven't yet figured out how to keep the company flying, and you don't know which direction you're heading, there isn't much useful to say yet. You can end up adding noise to a cockpit that's already saturated. KC put it simply. Focus on the things you, as the leader, can do, and leave the other things for others. Triage ruthlessly. Aviate first. The communication becomes easy once you know what you're flying toward. Challenge. Next time your company hits turbulence, run the protocol before you do anything else. What's the aviate? The one highest value priority you cannot afford to stop pursuing. What's the navigate? Is your strategy actually pointing toward real growth or just improvement? And communicate only after you've answered both. The board, the team, and your investors will trust you more when you wait until you know what you're flying toward.